Morning, America. Today when I woke up, I went on Twitter, and what I found was the Donald Trump feed was filled with Spanish. So this is what I take from that. Internet trolls and porn addicts are not cultural diversity. It's degenerate bigotry. It's a void in the wake of expectations and presentation. Now, when you're breeding in poverty, such as in Africa or in Mexico, it's ripe with calamity. Far greater than typical American hillbillies. The crime, disease, bigotry is born in avarice. Avarice blinds people to what it means to take things for granted. Avarice comes from living in the shadow of possibilities that lay out of reach due to paternal ineptity. So, now of course American hillbillies are not credible to a spotlight, but did they breed by the millions? And that's the point. Did they breed by the millions in poverty? The answer to that's no. They got herpes from snakes, and I'm just joking. That's not necessarily a hillbilly thing, but herpes from snakes is a significant issue on a completely different other topic. Okay, the point is that Trump deserves another election, judging by his behavior alone. Now, of course, we're going to have to see who steps up to replace him and compete with him in the next election, but his platform was good. And as Twitter becomes increasingly Spanish, despite Hispanics having unprecedented volumes of ideal, pristine land south of the American border, they're trying to come north, and which is weird. They do it because they don't have an economy. Now, they don't have an economy because of America. They don't have an economy because of themselves. And that's the problem we have with them. An economy isn't based on money, it's based on manpower. It's not like they're being prevented from being successful. They're the kind of people that, as a community, are unsuccessful in the first place due to their own personal cultural preference or bias. That's primarily the prospects of breeding adulterously in poor communities. And instead of prospering beforehand, they breed abundantly. And that's a scientific problem that's occurred all over the planet, over and over and over again. So that's the problem that we have with them. They don't have an economy. And so they come up here selling drugs and adulterously breeding and taking our jobs, which we don't even have, which we're subsidizing with government by destroying the environment to try and facilitate a young culture, a young society, so that we can thrive and become something stable. And we're never going to become stable if we don't get the opportunity to, which will mean we will continue to thrive via destroying non-renewable resources in an attempt to acquire that state of stability. So we have a problem with them coming over the border for that reason, just because it's facilitating all different kinds of aspects of poverty, from crime and disease and bigotry. So, however, it's good that Spanish thrives online, because Spanish is a very important language for our community. I mean, I just said Spanish has everything south of the American border to the bottom of South America, essentially, minus Brazil. But, it's an important thing. So, Hispanic relations, however, more than just important, should have no relevance except to continue and pursue border control in this next election. As far as American demography is concerned, we shouldn't be concerned about bringing in more Spanish people. Come on, everybody, we're a big happy family. That's completely wrong. We belong to the Queen of Britain, and we've got the Dutch, which we've liquidated through treaty destruction when the United States became its own thing and completely destroyed everything that the Dutch invested in. And we are with the French because we're the same throne, and the Queen is married to a German prince who is the rightful king of Greece. So the King of Spain can have his spot because that's a psychological, genetical bias, but that's not who we are, and we need that border in order to prosper. So, of course, discussing immigrant policies in lieu of such objectives of having border control can sway votes, and it's not a ploy to do so, as it's in actuality advocating policy preferences as a politician, the things that he was going for the first time to now no longer say, okay, we're going to cut them off, but actually discuss what it takes to come in and what it means to become an American citizen. That's not manipulating votes. That's just expressing himself because he was always planning on going for a second term on the same platform. So they, the trolls and bigots, are brainwashing people to invoke a horde of Hispanics, whitewashing our real problems and casting a dark shadow veil over political corruptness and perversions. Now that's what I'm getting from Twitter. I'm under the impression Twitter is trying to flood us with these poor people, these bigots and crime and disease and everything, because it's going to create a shadow veil that prevents us from dealing with political corruptness and our whoremongering issues. So that's what this is what I'm taking from. I'm taking Twitter is being run by media that's whoremongering, and they're shadow casting us with a flood of poor adulterers and porn addicts that have avarice, so it creates a corruption and a corrosion of society. I'm going to have to make a second one because I don't even think I have enough memory on my phone to go past 7 minutes here. Fascists are moving their card house, their card house to pursue sexcapades in the New World Order. That's what I'm taking from this Spanish being on the Twitter feed. So, nothing brings in adultery like subcultures. Creating caste society and limiting perception's capacity. That environment variety facilitates real opportunity only for the few. It's like when you have these big world companies and there's one manager and tons of like lower class citizens. That's what kind of opportunities you get from, well, melting pots. These subcultures. It's not good for a community. It's not cultural diversity. It's just bigotry. It's incoherent because it limits perception. It's better to actually have borders and to just have good relations by not cultivating crime and perversion and corruption in your own community and then pouring it over into the other person's community and destroying them because now you're both weak and that doesn't benefit you.